My girlfriend cheated on me after got a job, and she has been used me just for the visa and ATM. Now she is trying to win me back. So I did this because I don't care her anymore. My 24 male partner, 30 female, of 4 years, had an affair with a colleague, 23 male, on a mine site. We started dating on September of 2018, on my birthday, so that day has always been extra special to me. My partner does rostered work. She works 8 days on a mine site and is back 6 days off. I work a decent 9-to-5 job, so we are both pretty well off. She's also an international resident, so I have decided to help her get her visa to stay. We applied for the de facto spouse visa at the end of 2020. For the first 3.5 years, our relationship was really good. We both loved each other, and we're doing so much together. Unfortunately, some clashes between her and my mom led to us moving out and renting a place for 6 months. She knew how to do everything. She's extremely independent, knows how to take care of her house, and cooked really good food. I, on the other hand, was a bit of a dropkick and didn't know how to do any of that properly. Mom looked after me a bit too much, which handicapped me a lot when moving out. While I was working every day and being very smart with our money, we never had any money problems. I was also a bit selfish as a 23-year-old who tended to spend a bit too much time at the computer and away from household chores. I did make sure I spent some time with her, though. We watched some good shows like Game of Thrones, Money Heist, and Merlin. I did, however, clean enough to ensure we got 100% of our bond money back. I did all the de-weeding by hand. After our 6-month lease was finally up, we bought a place together. This was around September 2021. She started her mining job around December 2021, and me still being a drop kick didn't do much of the housework. Although I did learn to cook some dishes as I needed to make sure I kept myself fed while she was on site. But I still didn't do the laundry or vacuum and mop the floor because my standard of cleanliness was so much different from hers. Instead, I spent my time learning how to invest because she told me she wanted to make a lot of money. I designed an investment plan just to suit her. I enjoyed investing a lot, but not so much in cleaning. Come April 2022, she breaks down in her bedroom at my lack of help around the house. She tells me she's incredibly stressed with having to come back and do all the housework after 8 long days on the mine site. At this stage, I finally wake up and become the adult I should have become long ago. I started vacuuming and mopping the whole house once a fortnight and doing the laundry every week, making sure she has an empty basket to work with when she came back. It was like a switch was flicked in my head. I should also mention that sex was non-existent in the last year of our relationship. She didn't want to take the pill due to side effects. Although she was on it periodically for the first 3 years and we had sex then, I went to buy a pack of condoms, but then she went and hid the condoms when we were about to have sex. So I just refused to have sex with her because I didn't want to have unprotected sex and risk pregnancy. She even suggested that I take the male version of the pill that makes my sperm infertile or something. I don't even know what she was on about there. I kept up my routine, making my own lunches and maintaining the house while she was away. I finally become an adult that could survive on their own, but the relationship didn't seem to improve. Slowly, over time, she stopped cooking for me and didn't like me touching her in bed. She also gave me her cheek for kisses instead of her lips. Looking back, these were all red flags, but I was blinded by love and my desperation to save the relationship. I kept up with the cleaning and maintenance. She went back on the pill to balance her hormones, or so she claims. I tried initiating sex with her again at this point, but she refused. And then came September 17th, 2022. I was mopping the floor in my computer room and couldn't use it because the floor was met. I went to use her laptop instead and saw everything in Messenger. She had been in a casual but intimate relationship with a man on the mine site, a little bit younger than me. The text messages were extremely explicit. I saw they had this going on since late July. I couldn't go any further back because I was about to throw up. I confronted her about it that night, and she told me she had been extremely stressed with work and had fallen out of love. I didn't understand. She loved me when I was a total dropkick. All of a sudden, I become this mature and capable adult, but she doesn't love me anymore? I was a total wreck for the next week and couldn't sleep well. I decided to call things off with her. I cannot be with someone who commits infidelity. We were going to split up our assets and go our separate ways. She told me she wants to remain as friends, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But no, do I think that's a good idea for either of us? This also has implications for her visa. She is currently on her temporary visa until the end of November this year, at which point we are supposed to sign off on some documents so she can get her permanent residency. I told her I refuse to sign any documentation as I basically have to lie, which can get me sent to jail along with a big fine. She may still be able to get her permanent residency if the department decides to award it to her, but she is at a much greater risk of having to go back to a student visa, which means she will lose her mining job, along with her life savings of having to enroll in some course she doesn't want to complete and pay international student fees, which are bloody expensive, along with wasting years of her life just to progress her spouse visa all for nothing. Despite the harm she has inflicted on me, I hope she gets her permanent residency. It doesn't affect me either way, whether she gets it or not, but at this stage I have no influence over because I have already withdrawn as her sponsor. I cried multiple times in front of multiple people. I cried because the vision that I had of us being together with our many successes around us is now impossible. I cried because I was forced to make decisions that would either harm myself while benefiting her or harm her while benefiting myself. I cried as I enter the empty and dark house after work is done, knowing that she is living with her friends and I am alone. I will be moving back to my parents in a few months' time. It makes no economical sense to stay out here on my own without a partner. Alright, let's see some top comments. Loosebach29 says, I am petty. I hope she loses the visa. Playing stupid games. You may win stupid prizes. Good luck. Opie. Vincile McPress says, this also has implications for her visa. She is currently on her temporary visa until the end of November this year, at which point we are supposed to sign off on some documents so she can get her permanent residency. I fail to see how this is your problem. Nothing wrong with crying. You're mourning the relationship you thought you had. Update. First of all, a massive thanks to everyone who took the time to read my first post and took even more time to drop a comment of support. I'm glad I came to this subreddit. The first 2-3 months after D-Day was torture. I was living alone at my house. I hadn't moved back in with my parents yet, and my mind was always on her and how she could make such a poor life decision given how intelligent she is. Or was. I don't think she's so smart anymore. But the help of friends, family, and the subreddit, however, I managed to push through, finalize our separation, and move on. I liquidated our investments. I told the immigration agency that we're no longer together and I went through as a sponsor to stay on the safe, legal side of things. I gave her a share of the house. I bought out her share so the house is mine, and investments to her, and I left it at that. Whilst all of this was going on, she would make pathetic attempts at making amends like washing the bed sheets and making the bed while I was at work. She bought me 6 jars of Pringles one day, and on another, she texted me, offering to give me a lift because it was raining slightly. I messed up the bed when I got back from work. I declined her offer to drive me home, but I did eat the Pringles that she bought. I wasn't going to let those things go to waste, but that didn't change the way I felt about her at all. Anyone reading this, all of those things were done out of guilt. It's not love. It's guilt. There is a massive difference. She didn't do those things in the 2 months or so leading up to D-Day. So why is she only doing it after I found out? It's because she's guilty and she feels it. For those who read the first post under curious as to whether she'll be sent back to her home country or not, the only update I have on that is that she got her visa from the immigration agency. So from my point of view, it looks like she'll be here to stay. She called me after work to tell me the immigration agency decided to give it to her. I don't know how true it is though, nor do I care too much at this point. Fast forward to December of 2022. I've moved back with my parents and I started renting out the house that we were staying at. I kept myself busy by meeting up with friends, playing some new games, learning to cook some new recipes, started 3D modeling, and going to the gym. Day by day things got better. And as my love and ability to give a crap about her dwindled, I started to see more and more just how bad of a person she was. I remember how she would come back home just to pick on the smallest of things just to make me feel bad and to give her superficial reasons to cheat. I remember how she refused to kiss me on the lips in the last few months of our relationship. It was heartbreaking to come home after a long day of work just to have her not wanting to kiss me. I remember how she wouldn't even acknowledge me when I would walk through the front door and just sit on the bed with her laptop, pretending I don't even exist. Well, that's all in the past. I have better things to do and better people to get involved with. Thanks for reading. And for those who had just gone through D-Day recently, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Find some hobbies, go to the gym, talk to family and friends, go for a walk, go to the markets, listen to music, play some games, read a good book, start a small herb garden. Hell, go to work even, just to keep your mind busy. Literally do anything except dwell on your broken relationship.